Welcome back to Gene and Roger Talk Movies. Gene is back with us after a vacation. How was your vacation?
Oh, it was great. It was great.
Were you in Colorado?
In Colorado, where summer is actually a summer.
Well, it's been pretty hot here.
No, it's not.
It's raining today.
It's 50 degrees and cloudy and drizzly. No, and that's summertime. That's typical summertime Alaska. I mean, if you're a person that you like cool weather, and there are lots of people out there that like that, and you should move to Alaska because you will be in heaven.
Well, come check out the
Escape
winter first.
the heat.
Check the winter first before you come in. But
well, even the winters are getting more mild. So I've talked to old timers up here, and they used to say, like even in Anchorage, it used to get routinely -10.
Well,
but
yeah.
that just never happens anymore.
Well, negative.
Like even single digits. I mean, negative occasionally. But yeah.
Okay, well, Gene sometimes forgets how the winters are up here. But hey, today...
Well, you should agree with me, right? Because you're an old timer, right?
I am an old timer.
Yeah, and actually, I'm thinking about you because you used to tell me that
it is
growing up here,
definitely
-10 routinely.
Yeah, it was definitely colder in the olden days.
See, well, there you go.
And
that's
much more
point.
snow, although the last 2 winters there's been a lot of snow.
There's been a lot of snow.
Yeah. But
yeah,
anyway.
It's interesting. You're driving home, and it's like your residential street is like a toboggan run. Because because your car's driving, and then you got this big slopey snow on one side, big slopey snow on the other. You kind of want to almost like bank into it.
Well,
but you can't because you get stuck.
Right. But hey, today we are talking about Sam Raimi's 2009 Drag Me to Hell.
Yes, and I guess that's why I'm talking about other things,
right,
to avoid talking about this thing.
Well, and we're certainly not talking about the presidential debate. It is Drag Me to Hell.
Don't even get me started on that. Both of them live in a fantasy world. It's just, what does our country come to? It's like I think a theme of this movie is like all things happen for a reason, because that's like a theme, like my religious buddies. I've heard this many, many times. All things happen for a reason, the idea God's in control, right? Yeah, certainly God is God and humans, but really all things happen for a reason. I don't know. Our country's stuck like this. And, this Christine Allison Lohman, the main character in this movie, is like, really? Does she really? There's a thing called random chance, and sometimes things just happen.
Yeah.
And poor Christine, this is the name of her character. Yeah. Bad. She doesn't make it.
Right. Well,
let's just say she doesn't make it.
It's aptly titled "Drag Me to Hell" for sure. That's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
But she plays, what is it, a loan officer in a bank?
She's a loan officer in this poorly run bank, and there's just a lot of themes going on here. Like the movie's trying to be. I don't know what this movie's trying to do. It's like, are you trying to be serious? Because they keep bringing up the idea that Allison Lohman's had to overcome a lot in her life. Mm-hmm. Like when she was younger, she was quote unquote, she was a fat girl, and this is brought up many, many times, throughout the movie. And she's dating some guy who's got these super rich parents, and they're disappointed with the lowly farmer girlfriend.
Right.
Yeah. And then she's striving to get this loan officer, assistant bank director position, that she and some dude that she is training at the bank, like they're both vying for this assistant manager position, right? But she is training the dude that is her direct competition.
Right.
So what is going on here? It doesn't make things just doesn't make it much sense. I guess, in a patriarchal society, it's like just because you're a guy, you advance to go.
There's definitely
against some woman who is
right.
like vastly more knowledge and experience than you.
Yeah.
So
well, and the bank manager tells her she needs to toughen up, like whatever that other guy's name is.
Who cares what his name
right.
is? Yeah, we all know. We all know that guy.
And that's what really leads her into this whole problem. Is he tells her to toughen up because at her core, she's a very good person.
She is a very good person. She's overcome a lot, and anyway, it's this lady, Mrs. Ganesh. It's like a lady from the old country.
Yeah, gypsy lady.
Yeah, old country. I'm meaning like you think of like Budapest, like Hungary or Slovakia. Like there. She's in America now, and she's behind on her mortgage, right? So twice the bank has given her a break. I don't know what forbearance, I don't know what, but she's still not making it. So she comes in and asks a third time, expecting the bank to do it a third time. And of course the answer is no to her, and that's a reasonable expectation. But then one thing happens to another, and then this Mrs. Ganesh, she puts a curse on our poor little Christy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And this leads to a lot of like machinations. And I think this movie has a lot of great foundational aspects which could make it, I think, really good. But oftentimes I see this in horror movies, and I think this is a particular, and I've mentioned this before in my reviews, and this is a particular thing with horror movies. I mean, special effects are good. You want special effects like in sci-fi movies, and you want special effects in some movies. But when you see a lot of special effects in horror movies, generally that is a bad sign. And this is a really bad sign in this movie. They're just over-reliance on special effects, and it makes it just silly. And I was watching this with my wife, and she's like, why are we watching this movie? Did Roger drag you into this? Roger dragged me into hell watching this thing. You know, it's just like some silly things. Like there's Mrs. Ganesh, she waits for Miss Christine in the parking lot, underground garage, right? Right. And so somehow she gets in her car magically via some flying napkin, handkerchief, right? She's in the car. And so they get into some physical fight.
Knockdown, drag out
yeah,
fight.
And somehow this old, decrepit woman has got some serious strength so she can compete with the 25-something, kind of in shape, strong woman. And they're like equal. There's the equal sign there. Physical. That's just, you're losing it. And then all of a sudden they just get into this like, there's this like really gross kissing scene, which happens multiple times in this movie. And this like fluid stuff comes out of Mrs. Ganesh. And what is that? That's supposed to be scary or something? Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Where's this movie going,
well,
Roger?
It's interesting because
did you like this thing?
This is definitely a lesser Sam Raimi movie, but you can see the Evil Dead influence, especially Evil Dead 2, where there was a lot of gore and stuff like that, but there was also this weird kind of comedy element going on. And he tries to replicate that, because as I was watching this, especially when the character is kind of levitating near the end part, and that stuff.
Yeah, because there's this like they find this super shaman, and they have to pay $10,000 cash to go to the super shaman, and there's this guy there, and something bad's going to happen to him because when a character shows up, then you've
never seen him before.
You've never seen him before. Right. That guy's going to die. But anyway, he gets cursed, and then he starts dancing in the air, and it just made me think of like Winona Ryder in Beetlejuice, and it's just like, what is this? Is this movie trying? Is this horror comedy? Yeah, which Sam Raimi.
That's where
Evil Dead 2. Right. Yeah, he lightning in a bottle with that movie. That movie is fantastic. But you could tell that they were going down that road, right? But I think in this movie, you don't know which way. Where are we going here with this movie? It's like make a decision. Do you want to go Evil Dead horror comedy, and it's clearly that, or do you want to go more serious? I don't know where this movie's going.
Right. Tonally, it's kind of messed up because of course, they introduce a cute little kitten earlier on, and then she is told that, well, you could potentially sacrifice some other living thing to this demon that's trying to get you, and that would work. And so there's this very horrendous sequence where she's, hey, here, kitty, and she's got this big knife, and of course she stabs the heck out of it.
And it goes,
right, And so you've got something really gruesome and unsettling like that, and then it's followed up with weird random dancing demonically possessed creature, and it's the tone is wrong.
And then she goes to the family of Mrs. Ganesh to try to, because clearly there's been a curse put on her, because she visits like a medium, who's the same guy who appeared in Avatar. He's one of the scientists in Avatar. Yeah. And so she goes to her house, and then all of a sudden a young woman at the house says, you used to be a fat girl. And it's like, why is this her used to be a fat girl the thing? Because we hear it multiple times.
Right.
So what's going on here? So she's not fat now. And who cares? Why is this a thing?
Well, and I
don't get it.
Right. And it's also just weird how, at her core, she's a nice person.
She is.
But she's in competition for this assistant manager position or whatever. So she's actually going outside her norm to try to get this, her greed, I guess, or whatever the correct term would be, to try to get that job, even though she should have it sewed up already because she's the most experienced person
Clearly
there.
the most experienced.
And all of this, but there's the whole bro code going on. So she operates outside her normal behavior, which is really what starts this whole thing in the first place. And so it's weird how they keep, I don't know, the tone is just so wrong. I just don't know how more to explain it on this one.
Right. I don't know how they fix this thing. Maybe a little more clever writing. She doesn't have to be a loan officer. She could be something else. I don't know. But like her even making the decision to deny the loan forbearance or gift or whatever you want to call it. I mean, that's a sound business call right there because she's already given it to this lady twice already. I mean, what do you want, lady? Like, be squatter? You want to just live there for free now? I don't know, Roger. That's,
right. And, and it's just, it's weird because then throughout the movie at various points, she's talking about how, well, my boss made me do this. My boss made me do this. And then at the end, she does admit that, no, it was all me. I could have given her another, forbearance or whatever, but I just didn't. And so it's just really weird how the tone, again, is off. Does it want to be kind of a Evil Dead style comedy? Does it want to be more serious? Because early on, it's trying to be more serious, even though there's scenes, like Gene was talking about, the battle in the car, that just are, this is,
like, what is it going
off.
on there?
Right.
I know it's just off. It's not
scary
really funny.
And I don't know what could have saved it other than Sam Raimi saying, look, I'm not going to do a PG-13. We're going to make this a hard R. Like, I mean, Evil Dead 2 went out unrated because they didn't even submit it to the ratings board. Right. And he could have gone that route and said, we're going to just really go for it here. And it would have maybe been a better film. There's a really wonky special effect with an animatronic goat near the end, which is just laughable.
That was a real goat in there, right?
It was a real goat until it
reminded me of Black Phillip, but except it's white.
Until he got possessed by the.
Oh, and he starts talking. That's right. It's like, what? It's just, like that's what? What's going on here? It's just you have to be. You create a universe. All movies over that, suspension of disbelief, all that. You create a universe, but you got to be consistent within your own universe. Right,
and that's again, and that maybe explains some of the tonal problems where you're just kind of off the rails too much. You don't. There's nothing keeping you grounded in this film to where, and then at the end when she doesn't win and gets dragged to hell, you're like, what was that ending?
Yeah, because all it is she would have succeeded, but her boyfriend, Justin Long, is Clay in the movie, he likes to collect coins, right? So she finds a coin for him and puts it in a white envelope. But the way the Mrs. Ganesh activated the curse against Christine is she took a button off of her coat. So you have to get something that belongs to them. It's also that button is also put into a white envelope. And so they're driving along, their boyfriend, girlfriend in their car. And her purse gets knocked on the floor and there's all kinds of just papers all over the place. And so but she's on a mission to redeem herself because the way she figures out to get out of this curse is to give back the button to who gave her the curse. So she's going to dig up the grave of Mrs. Ganesh and give back the button to her, which she, cursed. She does a huge effort, and she succeeds.
Right.
She gives the button back, but it turns out at the end of the movie, Justin Long at Clay comes up to her and shows her the envelope, and what's in the envelope, the button.
Right.
So she grabbed the wrong envelope.
Yeah.
Which made me think is like, I don't know, your life is on the line. I know you're desperate. But look, your purse fell on the ground. There are lots of papers there. Maybe you try to make sure you have the right.
Right. Well, and then on top of that, though, the movie at that whole graveyard sequence, that long shot of the graveyard was like, am I in a Tim Burton movie all of a sudden with the way this graveyard
looks? Right, and it reminded me of the pool scene in Poltergeist. you know that scene, right? the pool under construction is full of water, and then all these coffins start popping up, and for some reason the bodies are floating. Yeah, so she digs this big hole in the ground. Really, 145 something pound woman digs this big hole in the ground, puts the coin back into the woman. She actually stuffs it in her mouth. Lets loose some big curse words.
Right.
Bitch. And then she... And then it rains.
It's a downpour.
And then all of a sudden starts downpouring, and the hole is filled with water, but the body floats for some reason. And then it's like an embrace.
Right, trying to grab her, it seems, and stuff.
I know, it just, yeah.
Yeah, it's just so... Nice. And that's coming off of the huge seance scene where they just did a big special effects laden thing there, and then they get through that scene, and then now we're rushing to this graveyard to shove this envelope in this woman's mouth, and it's really kind of cartoonish and just weird, and then she still doesn't win.
Right.
And so the movie just ends with her, you're being dragged to hell.
She's getting dragged to hell. Yep.
And that's the end of the film, and you're like, wow, is that it? Did I just watch a 99-minute film here?
Right.
And really, there isn't anything really scary in this. There isn't anything really satisfying with the ending, I guess is the best way to put it, where he tries to do this cool gotcha ending at the, where, it's like the Twilight Zone kind of ending or something where,
right.
You thought you'd won and you didn't
no final
win,
girl here.
And it's just kind of a nothing little film at the end of the day.
Yeah, I don't like it either, yeah. Yeah, I like Alison Lohman. She's appeared in one of my favorite movies of all time. She's in a movie called Big Fish with Ewan McGregor, which is probably a top 10 movie for me. Yeah, so it's cool seeing her in that movie. And then Justin Long's from a lot of stuff, But
we last saw Justin Long in Barbarian.
Barbarian, right? Exactly. Which I didn't really like that movie either, but I think you like that movie.
It's fine. It's not. I think it goes way off the rails with crazy cannibal freak woman at the end.
Yeah, the cannibal somehow has superhuman powers. Right. Like when he went through that brick wall, I'm just like, okay.
Yeah. I do want to point out, though, that if you are a Sam Raimi aficionado, the 1973, what is that, Oldsmobile Delta 88 does make an appearance in this film, as you know.
Yeah, Mrs. Ganish's car.
That's her car.
Now, where does that car appear?
Well, so that's in basically every movie that Sam Raimi can fit it into, he does. So it's in basically all of his movies, even Oz the Great and Powerful, where it shouldn't be, but it is in there. That's his deal. I think it's his first car. And so it was the car that Bruce Campbell drives to the cabin in Evil Dead.
Right.
And it's been in basically every movie he can justify putting it in.
And like the pizza truck in all Pixar movies.
Right. Alfred Hitchcock making a cameo. Yeah, you always have to look for the 1973 Oldsmobile Delta 88.
Of all cars, that's the one.
Right. So,
the height of Detroit's engineering, yes.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. But, Gene, anything more about Drag Me to Hell?
No. It's just, again, if you like horror, watch out for movies like in a trailer. If you see a horror movie and the trailer looks special effects laden, maybe it's time to skip that one. Yeah. It just makes me think about like a movie called, The Babadook. Recently we reviewed that, and that's a pretty good horror. And there's a lot of special effects in that. No, there's not. Or like the Witch, or more special effects. Yeah.
Well, and I just, again, you could have, because The Thing is laden with special effects, but they're awesome, right? They're all practical effects.
Well, the thing is, back in the day when something blows up, well, they really blew that thing up. Because at the end of the thing where you see the whole complex exploding, they're probably really blowing up a little village right there.
Right, yeah. But so you can do it right. I just think there was nothing really to save this film because the tone is so, they didn't decide on a tone and just go, this is the tone we're going to have for this film. And so it's just up and down the whole time.
You just don't know where
and then
where
it just kind of ends, and she didn't win and it's over.
Yeah.
And
I guess I'll go back to the special effects. I think what I'm referring to then is clearly when the effects are real. But when you have computer special effects, that's when you start to get you should start asking some serious questions.
Yeah, that's all practical effects and stop motion in some of the scenes, but it's really happening right in front of you for the most part. And
talk about stop motion. The movie Stop Motion's great. It has stop motion, but is stop motion really a super technical thing? No.
Well, it's time consuming for
time
sure.
consuming, yeah, but that's a good horror movie as well.
Yeah, but what are you thinking about next?
Well, you know what we're doing next week. Just say it. You know what we're doing.
We're doing Maxine next week.
We're doing Maxine.
Okay.
My wife and I, we saw the Quiet Place Part 1. I guess they call it Quiet Place Day 1.
Mm-hmm.
And that, something, that movie didn't suck.
Well, okay.
Because I think we reviewed Quiet Place, didn't we?
We did.
Maybe we could review Quiet Place Day 1. And I would even go so far to say as this movie's better than 1 and 2.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I think I'll just outright say it, this movie is better than 1 and 2. Definitely better than 2, but better than 1 as well.
Wow. Okay. I have not seen that one yet.
Yeah, it's surprisingly good. Yeah.
I'm waiting for, obviously, Maxine. I want to see that, but I also want to see Longlegs with Nicolas Cage and Micah Monroe.
Well, Maxine is what we're doing next week.
Okay, so
it's in the movie theaters now, so definitely check it out.
Yeah, very good.
Then also Quiet Place Day 1. Yeah, definitely check that out too. That's a surprise. And also, if you're a cat lover, that's just a bonus to watch. Quiet Place.
Right, I've heard about the cat.
The cat is almost every scene, and the cat just steals every scene.
Knocks it out of the park. Okay.
Go kitty. And actually, there are 2 kitties.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I think what I'll do is I'll buy the movie when it comes out, and I'll watch it carefully to see if I can distinguish. Oh, that's that kitty. And the other one's, I think, named Nico. It's like,
All right. Anything more, Gene, about
No, I think, yeah. Okay. So I think I'm done, yeah.
So I think we're in agreement that Drag Me to Hell, maybe if it's a rainy Sunday and you've broken your leg and can't move off the couch and it's on, give it a shot. Otherwise, probably skip this one.
Yeah. Again, I'm at Alison Lohman. She's in one of my favorite movies of all time, Big Fish. So, yeah. It's a cool movie for that, but... Yeah, as a movie, it's not really working.
Okay, last thing before we end this episode, Scott Eggleston, director of Bad Bones, is actively beginning shooting his new film, Theater of Pain, and we're looking forward to maybe one day seeing that and having him on to talk about that. Yes, he's actually doing a little bit of a crowdfund right now, trying to raise some money for additional stuff on it and things like that, but we're looking forward to that.
Yeah. I'm getting going on my screenplay for my horror movie, which I think is pretty good.
Okay.
So there's a lot of outdoor shots. So
right, which is going to cause some trouble, but
I don't think it caused that much trouble.
Anyway, we will catch you next week with Maxine. So bye.
See ya.